All right. It's a little after 1:30. We're at 1:32, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. Thank you all for being on time. Thanks for coming again to this odd afternoon meeting. Just before we proceed, I want to say that I'm very optimistic that this is going to be our last virtual meeting for some time going forward. I know you guys, everyone had expressed that we'd like to everyone to be informed, and we're going to continue to have these monthly meetings, at least as close to every month as we could. It might be every 5 weeks or so, but I'll try to keep it as consistent as possible. But I would love for us all to meet in person next month, in the month of September. Although we might not have all 70 plus of us and in one place at one time, we might divide it up into two different groups. I'm looking forward to hopefully scheduling September's meeting to be in person. It would be good to see everyone again in person. All right, so we'll go ahead and begin. So good afternoon. This is our IT Tech 2 meeting for the month of August. So we're going to cover a few points here. We'll conversate a little at the end. We'll make sure everyone is up to speed with what's going on. If anybody has any questions, cares, or concerns, we'll all listen to everyone's input. So first, let's get into the meeting. Let's go through some information. Wade, you're good on your side?
Yeah, I'm good. Still letting people in. So
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. All right, well, let's go ahead and proceed. Um, there we go. All right. So I had the opportunity this year, this was my first year to attend the SLI, the Summer Leadership Institute. I was there kind of in a support role, but I also kind of took in some of the information that was shared to the administrators, as well as some other faculty of the county last week out in Cambridge. The theme to the meeting was their idea of the power of one and how important it is, how important and impactful one person, such as yourself, can make on an entire organization. So the theme is how innovation leads to transformation. Oh, uh-oh. And we'll proceed. All right, so it's a big word here, big phrase here. So what is transformative innovation? This is something we're going to talk about not just today, but going forward as a county and even as our department. Transformative innovation is basically changes that shift the entire system into a new framework that is created to be viable for the future. That's a nice Webster's definition of what is transformative innovation. But basically, in terms of what we're thinking about, is that things have changed. Things have changed in education. They've changed in IT. We work in IT, but we are here to support um, our end users. You could say are the students of Prince George's County Public School. So whatever we did in the past, whether it was 5 years, 10 years ago, everything's different and everything's changed. And whatever it is that we did in the past, just can't be what we do in the future. We have to continue to innovate, and we are going to transform through our innovation here in the county. So when we innovate, we're doing something new, and that means that we're taking a risk. I know it's difficult sometimes, even for myself. I'm sure a lot of us, you all as well, to take a risk. We must accept that although we might fail, but the only way that we ever learn anything is through failure. So failure is okay. I know I've learned a lot because I have failed a lot, and I hope you all have failed a lot too. It sounds weird, it sounds odd, but again, the only way that we are going to learn and we're going to better ourselves is by failing. Hopefully, we don't continue to fail at the same things. We all should be learning, but we just have to we have to be comfortable and become comfortable with taking risks. Failure is okay. Just like people, our county, Prince George's County Public Schools, has developed a certain set of ways of doing things over a long period of time. Some of us have been here in this county for 5 years, some for 10, some for upwards of 30, maybe even 40 years. The longer we and the county has been doing something a certain way, the more it becomes just absolutely embedded into our core culture. There are some good things that the county has done. There are a lot of bad things that the county has done, not just our county, but every county. So the goal is to kind of break through those norms and that culture that we've kind of have ingrained in some of us and, into this county and take risks into, transforming again through innovation. So our goal is to transform through innovation in order to adapt to the ever-changing world of technology in the field of education, which is what we are. This is what we do. The future of education. So again, we must adapt to what the future of education will look like as we push forward into the 21st century. Some of us might have been working in the field of education, again, for 10, 20, 30 years. Myself, I've been here in this county 21 years. The way the county looks now is nothing like the way it looked, in 2001 when I came here, when computers were first hitting the classroom. So yes, learning is different. Everything is different, and we have to be able to transform. We have to understand that there will be non-traditional classrooms. Going forward, children should not be seated at rows of desks in a classroom and forced to sit 6, 7, 8 hours a day and learn sitting in seats. One-to-one mobile devices, we're here. It's where we are now. Even just 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, that wasn't even a concept that was in our heads. 3D imaging and more. So there's a lot that's changing in the world of education. And I want you guys to watch this
This is
short
America
clip.
in 1900. This is a car in 1900.
Give me a thumbs up that you can
and
hear
a
it
phone,
okay?
And a high school. This is America in 1950. And a car,
Okay.
and a phone, and a high school. This is today. A car, a phone, a high school. Whoa, back up. So cars are now this, and phones are now this, but high schools are still that? American high schools are based on the same model, and it's been over 100 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
But why? In 1900, it made sense for high schools to prepare students for that. But in 2017, shouldn't they be preparing students for this, and even this? So why are we still granting diplomas based on the time a student spends in a seat? And why is the formula for learning still 4 years sitting at a desk multiplied by one subject taught at a time equals students ready for the future? Yeah, doesn't make sense anymore. So let's start to rethink, reimagine, and rebuild the high school system. The time is now.
4 years, 720 days. Get on the bus, get off the bus. Repeat. Exams, SATs, ACTs, repeat. That's the definition of high school, of making it. But what's making it even mean?
People think if you don't speak up or raise your hand, then you must not care about your future. But what if we just want to know why? Why are we doing this? Why are we in school?
And how? It's so easy to get lost in a sea of people. But what if you never saw the future possibilities, had no direction or a role model to guide you?
It's crazy to think this is the reality for so many kids in high school. We had the opportunity to make it more. We flipped the script on what school is, on how we learn, who we want to be, and who we can be. School today is fast. It's about collaboration, doing, learning from one another, and experiencing the real world.
In these 4 years, we found ourselves. We found our passions. We found a future we're excited for.
We've put in the work and found our support system. We've all risen above. For me, that means I'll be first in my family to be college bound. And for that, I could not be more proud.
Our school is about much more than 4 years. It's about the real world. It's about the future. It's about all of us. We flipped the script. This is school for a new generation.
All right. So yeah, that's exactly what it says. This is the school for the new generation. I know it focused primarily on high schools. Again, that's where we're probably going to end up seeing the most innovation, but it does begin, of course, in elementary, middle, and high school age. So we just have to adapt. We can't think that we're going to do the same things with the children currently that we had done 10, 15, 20 years ago. So we must innovate. Moving forward here. So not too long ago, these pictures aren't even that too long ago. This is what IT, at least in PG, Prince George's County Public Schools, what it looked like not too long ago. I'm not sure. I hope you can see some of the pictures okay, but you can tell by the looks of most of these pictures, we have our old computer labs. You see a lot of just desktops. A lot of old CRTs. This is what, mainly we were here to support years and years ago, was just desktops. Yes, we began to see teachers' laptops, but it was all about desktops in the classroom, desktops in labs, desktops in offices. That's what it looked like. So we move forward, and now we take a look at what our work looks like now. Isn't that a great picture there at the end? Hey, Talbot. Mr. Anderson. All right. So that video that shows us a few clips of what our IT work like here is in the county now. So it's a lot different than what it was back in even 2011, 12, 13, 14, even 2015. You can see a lot of the differences. Most of the pictures of what you see there, of course, we're all tired of hearing it, but this is where we are. Chromebooks. Chromebooks. Do we have to get our hands dirty? Yes. As you saw in those pictures, we've got to open them up. We're repairing keyboards. We're repairing LCDs, troubleshooting Chromebooks, iPads, obviously collaboration and teamwork. No one should ever be out there on an island doing their own thing and trying to figure out things by themselves. We're all here for each other. So with that being said, and now that we understand what transformative innovation is, let's get into a few news tidbits and updates. Just to let you guys know, keep you abreast. So CDR is coming back to pick up at the sites that were identified by the end of last week. So if you recall, last week I asked you guys to identify a snapshot. Let me know, roughly what needs to be picked up at some of your buildings. Not that every building had to have items picked up. This is just for those buildings that needed stuff removed. Their pickup is tentatively scheduled to start August the 23rd. Again, please stay alert for schedule changes. Things might impact, it might change by a day or two. On that note, I didn't put it here in this PowerPoint, but I want to make you guys aware. Just last week, JJ introduced a new vendor to myself, to Andy, and to Keith Stewart in purchasing. And we're trying to get another vendor approved who will help offset some of the labor that CDR has to do. This is an entirely different company, and I'm not sure what the name is yet, but I'll relay that to you guys. But if approved and if a contract is established, hopefully in the next day or two, we can begin to pick up potentially some of this equipment even before the 23rd of August. Yes, we might have identified to CDR that we had 68 buildings that they need to pick up, but it's okay if by the time they get here, there's only 23 buildings that need to be picked up. It's all right. They'll be okay. So I understand that some schools need stuff out immediately. They have classrooms they need to set up, and that August the 23rd might be a little too late for some of these buildings to get this stuff out of here. So we're working with this new vendor, and hopefully we can get them in and start to pick up some equipment sooner than later. We're also going to begin to prepare Chromebook distribution to schools, hopefully starting as early as the end of the second week of August. The majority of our Chromebook infusions are going to take place at the elementary school level. With that being said, let me move on to this next bullet. So we are going to transition pre-K and kindergarten students from iPads to Chromebooks this school year. Does that mean that every pre-K child by the month of November will have a Chromebook in their hand, a touchscreen Chromebook? Potentially no, but we're going to work towards it. Definitely definitively kindergarten 1 and 2, we definitely want to make sure that they all have touchscreen Chromebooks. What we do need to do is begin to transition those touchscreen Chromebooks out of the middle schoolers' hands and high schoolers' hands. And we'll talk about that later, how to identify if there's a lot of touchscreen Chromebooks in those schools and begin to bring them back to the pre-K and K kids' hands. Only ECC students will be issued iPads for the 2022-23 school year, as well as a few, identified pre-K and specialized programs. So we'll work on an individual basis with certain schools. And if you have any questions, hey, about, certain, I'm sorry, ECC, my fault, that's Early Childhood Center. My apologies. Started. We have a few, I think we have 4. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I think we have 4 ECCs spread throughout the county. So they are early childhood centers, and they will definitively be using iPads, at least until further notice. Okay. All right. That being said, iPad Pros cases and Apple Pencils will be issued to high school graphic arts students again this year, in addition to their issued Chromebooks. So this is specifically for the high school techs, and you by now you know who you are and you know what schools, because last year you got these same iPad Pros. Jan Harper should have reached out to you all, as well as the TDC managers, Renee and Steve. They received all this next influx of iPad Pros. So just to be aware, there's more coming. Let's keep our fingers crossed. We hope that the kids, treasure them and take good care of them. They're a pretty penny, about $1,000 each that they'll have in their hands. But just to make you guys aware that there's more coming. All right, a few items to note before we begin our open discussion. So congratulations, and I'm not sure if I said it last time, to our new, maybe this happened, maybe I did, yeah, to our newly anointed Tech 2s. Now that everyone in the field is an IT technician too, just to reiterate again, it's absolutely imperative to understand and recognize what your responsibilities are. This is more so for those Tech 1s that have just recently become Tech 2s. Everyone's responsible for the repair and Chromebooks at their site or sites when warranties and parts are available. If anyone again needs any help in understanding how to call in machines that are under warranty, you can reach out to the lead techs. They can help you and walk you through that process. Even other technicians in the field, obviously the high school techs, those that have been at a high school for a while, in middle school, they understand, they've been doing it for a while. You can reach out to them as well. Please remember that no good LCDs should be sent to CDR or with any other vendor with outgoing Chromebooks. Our mission here is not to arm CDR or any other company with the best machines that we can, to give them. We're not worried about them. We need to take care of us. So if we end up just giving them shells of machines, that is absolutely fine. But if those LCDs are good on those Chromebooks, it's fully expected that we need to remove those good LCDs. And if you send the shell to CDR, that's absolutely fine. They can keep that bad system board and bad keyboard. That's fine. But we definitely need to retain these LCDs. We're going to have some unprecedented amount of damage coming back to us in about 3 weeks when these kids roll back from their summer hiatus. I won't even call it vacation, the summer hiatus. So be prepared. Whatever LCDs you can have on hand in your buildings, you're going to need it. Yeah. Also, it is absolutely mandatory. Absolutely mandatory. I'm just going to reemphasize this one more time. For everyone to sign in using the e-timesheet each day you are not on leave. Some individuals might question why we are doing this, and if it's some sort of punishment. That is the last motive for this e-timesheet. This e-timesheet is strictly a way that I can validate for you all without even entertaining you all and wasting your time when I might hear from schools, teachers, administrators. Hey, I haven't seen my tech. My tech hasn't been here, yada, yada, yada. It's easy and efficient. I open the spreadsheet. I show these, I can speak to these individuals and tell you, look, this individual is here, 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 here. I have it documented. Please don't come to me with that nonsense telling me that, your technician is not there. Now, when you don't sign into that e-timesheet, then I have no means to validate you. Now, not to say that you wouldn't be telling the truth if you weren't there, but it's our way of being efficient and validating that you were there, you were present, you're on time. So in no way, shape, or form is it intended for any kind of punishment, just validation. I've heard it a lot, too many times, every single week. And I don't come to you all. I haven't come to you all yet, maybe one or two, but I haven't come to you all yet because I'm able to to squash it right when it begins, because I use the timesheet and it's fantastic. So please just remember that it is absolutely mandatory. If anybody has any questions about how to access the e-timesheet, I'm going to send this PowerPoint to you. And this e-timesheet is actually hyperlinked to the site, which will take you to sign into the e-timesheet. Chrome OS Flex is here. It's beta, but it is available. I ask that you please have a discussion with your sites regarding outdated desktops and laptops that can actually be repurposed with Chrome Flex. If you're not familiar with what Chrome Flex is, it's a Google has come out with an operating system, and we spoke of this last time, that you can install on top of old Dell laptops or even MacBooks or any other type of older laptops, and will actually run Chrome on that full-blown laptop or that old desktop. So these antiquated desktops, these 780s, whatever, 5440s, 5450s laptops, if you have labs of them in your building, you are thinking about sending them out to CDR, have a discussion with your administration. I know every building is always looking for extra testing machines and testing devices. This is the perfect opportunity to change some of those 30, 5440s that you were about to send out to CDR that fully function, that are fine, but are obviously really slow. But if you just run Chrome on it, it's a beautiful, ready to use testing machine. We can get them enrolled the same as you would Chromebooks, and you can have them on standby. So not to say you want to retain every device, but if you do have some older devices in your building, think about changing them into some Chrome OS Flex devices. Last little bullet point here. Some of you had asked about the most current version of the student agreement form. Yes, I know there's a lot of versions of it floating out here and there, different prices, yada, yada. Again, when you get this PowerPoint, this link here, where you see the word here, it's always going to include, it's going to take you to a site that will have always the most updated versions of those student agreement forms in English, Spanish, and French. So no need to download them locally or keep referring to old emails to try to find them. You can use this link, save this link, make it a favorite. It will always take you to, if we update that form 48 hours from now, you will have that updated form. Just please use this link, okay? I'll send out this PowerPoint so you have it, and you'll always have access to the most updated version of the student agreement forms. With that being said, that's it for the information on my point. I know I've sat here and run my mouth. Now I would love to hear from you all. So first, I want to say thank you. There's so many shout outs that I can give to so many people. But I want to express to all of you how grateful and thankful I am for all the work that you guys have been doing and that we will be doing, especially in these next 3 to 4 weeks as school reopens. I appreciate the technicians, and I apologize for not calling you out by names, but those that have taken on more sites as we have transitioned into this new model. I appreciate the high school techs, middle school techs that have acquired a new elementary school or 2 or 3. Please welcome, I didn't even formally welcome, please welcome formally from the help desk, in case you don't know, or some of you who might not know them, Stephen Mims and Brandon Teal. They should both be on here. So I want you guys to formally welcome. They're coming out to the field. So again, in person, once we meet in person next month, we'll have the opportunity to meet everyone, but please welcome Brandon Teal and Stephen Mims back out into the field. We're also welcoming Matthew Fuse. He's coming out into the field. Well, he has been out in the field now for a few weeks, along with Brandon. And I want to give a special shout out. I know I just talked earlier, but thank you to one of our newest techs, Michelle. Michelle has been, she hasn't been with the team very long, but I thoroughly appreciate her mentoring and kind of guiding Matthew Fuse through his transition out into the field. We kind of just let him loose and let him rip and run, but she's been there to help him with his day-to-day activities, let him know what he should be doing, what he can do, should he be in certain situations. So special shout out to Michelle. I appreciate every single one of you that has been donating your time, whatever extra time you have, and heading down to Forestville to help Les and Mike and the team down there with the unprecedented amount of devices that need repair and triaged and quality control tested. So thank you all for that. I appreciate it. You guys know who you are. Thank you for everything. With that being said, before we move into comments, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you all, please welcome Naraya. Cyrus Parker welcomed his baby girl, I believe it was last week. So please welcome Miss Naraya Parker to our family. Congratulations, Cyrus and Liz. All right, now I stop talking. All right, so I appreciate you guys for listening. So if you should have any thoughts or questions or concerns, I see some chats. I'm going to open up the chat and I'm going to try to answer as many questions if there are any in the chat. Brenda has raised her hand. Brenda, how are you? Go ahead, Brenda.
Hi, I'm good. That was a beautiful baby, by the way. Just beautiful.
Yeah.
That made my day. I was at that training, the one Wade was there too, for the new smart panels.
Mhm.
And the lady there said she was going to be sending us all an email with links to, helpful things for the new machines. But she's never said, I've never gotten anything.
Links for, you mean as far as the smart board?
Yes, for troubleshooting
Okay.
issues.
Thank you for
But-
making me aware. Was it Karen or was it some other individual?
It was Karen.
It was Karen. Okay.
So I have a meeting with her tomorrow, Brenda, and I will bring that up. Thanks, though.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I want it so I can review it before school starts. That's all.
Absolutely. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you. That was
Brenda.
my only question. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Brenda. Anybody else? Any other kudos, questions, thoughts?
Question on the boards.
Mhm.
Do we have a schedule?
Sorry, a schedule for the
Installation.
installations? Yes, we do. I'm going to let Wade answer that as well. Go ahead, Wade.
Yes, we do.
My principal here at Ogle was asking this morning.
It's for Ogle. Give me a call after the meeting. I'll
Certainly
punch in the
shall.
schedule for you. Let you know.
And I will preemptively, I'll speak with Kim Roberson, who's in charge of this project. There's a document that's quasi fluid, but I'll share it out with you guys for viewing. So you can answer these questions yourself if she's okay with me sharing it out with everyone. It changes a lot. Obviously there's a lot to massive project, but I understand that would be helpful if you guys at least had some kind of idea as to when your buildings would A, be receiving the boards and B, having them installed. So thank you. All right. Does anybody else have any audible questions? I'm reading through the chat, so I'm going to address them. Any other audible questions?
Yeah, I have one.
I had one.
Go for it.
Do we
I might have
have
missed this in the beginning. I was a few minutes late. iPads in elementary schools, are they going out or?
Great question. So yeah, we did address that in the beginning. So iPads are primarily going to be used for the ECCs, the early childhood centers, as well as other certain programs, special education programs and things like that. We are working towards removing the iPads from the hands of pre-K and kindergarten students and replacing them with touchscreen Chromebooks.
Okay.
So to answer your question, yes, we are aggressively replacing those iPads in the hands of pre-Ks and kindergarten students with touchscreen Chromebooks.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, Pat. Thank you.
So are you guys going to come plan time to come pick the iPads up from the school, or what are we supposed to do with them?
That is an excellent question. So the process is still in the works. It's, in my opinion, it's more important that we get the devices to you before we pick up the devices from you. Obviously,
Correct.
we want the kids to have the tools that they need in order to succeed at the beginning of the school year. So what I'm going to do, I have a meeting with administration tomorrow, and I would like to get some kind of snapshot to figure out how many pre-K and kindergarten students are going to be in each elementary school this year, and make sure that we have that number, or at least as close to that number as possible, of touchscreen Chromebooks available for each elementary school, because definitively the pre-K students will need touchscreen Chromebooks. They have nothing. The kindergarten students, they probably had an iPad in most cases, but we'll need to get them a touchscreen Chromebook. And then there are other schools where some kindergarten students who were pre-K last year might have had Chromebooks, touchscreen Chromebooks, and so we might not have to replace those, but we will need those numbers so we know how many of these touchscreen Chromebooks to disseminate. to each elementary school, yeah. Yep.
Thank
And
you.
then we'll work on the collection after the distribution. Yeah. Mhm. Any other question? John, I see your question. The new contract allows for professional development and reimbursement. Do we have a process yet? Process, you mean for a paid, a type of paid professional development? Is that what you're referring to, John?
Yes.
Gotcha.
The way I read it, that you can take classes, you
Mhm.
have to have them pre-approved, but then they would be reimbursed. Unlike the reimbursement for classes from accredited colleges and universities.
Gotcha. Okay. So John, that's an excellent question. So if you have a training
Yeah.
that you found that you're interested in, just send it to me immediately. I will do any and everything in my power to get it approved. So then we can get you in that class and get your money back ASAP. Absolutely.
Okay.
Thanks.
So the other one is, there's an area in the contract that says if you have a certification,
Mhm.
you could get $1,000 or up to $1,000 per year for having a certification.
Mhm. I
So there's
believe
a
that.
process.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
What's the process for that as well? Because they would have to be, you'd have to show a valid current cert or something to someone.
Yep. So I
And then-
believe that. Go ahead, John.
I'm sorry. The other part is, when is the payment provided? When is the payment provided?
So the answer to those last two questions, I'm sure that's going to have to go through the certifications office, not benefits and certifications, but the actual certification office down at Sasser. So I will find the contact info for that individual for you to speak of that. That wouldn't be handled by me as far as, validating certifications or even the refund or the payment of the $1,000. So
Yeah.
that I'll look for that individual's name at the certifications office. Hopefully they can answer that question for you.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. John, thanks for your patience. I saw you had your hand raised. Go ahead, John.
For the pre-K and K, I
Mhm.
am hoping and can't imagine that they're going to be taking these 4-year-olds or taking their machines home. So should we encourage the schools maybe to not have these be take-home devices for the kids that are that young? And should we take some of these Chromebook carts that are basically in storage at the buildings and encourage the classes to take one of these carts and make themselves a in-room charging station, so the machines are basically have a place to go and be charged and be ready for the kids to use when they do decide they're going to use them?
That's an excellent question. That's one that came up last week and we did speak of that. There's nothing formally that's put in place that says that a school has to do that, but there is definitely informal talk that if an administration decides to do such for, let's say, the pre-K children, that is up to the discretion of the administration at the school. Does that answer the question? So there's nothing formal that says they must do that, but if the administration chooses to do so, that's something they could do.
So, and following up also, so these
Mhm.
kids are going to be getting these new devices. If they are going to be taking them home, or
Mhm.
I remember when the cases came last year, you kind of said it was a pot of money, and once the pot of money is gone, we're not buying cases for these very young children that are going to be getting devices. If the flip
Mhm.
side is they are taking them home, are they getting cases?
Yeah, so if they are going to take them home, they are going to get cases. We still have a surplus of about close to 4,500 bags, 45 to 5,000 bags still left in the warehouse that we haven't distributed yet. So that should more than compensate for the pre-K and K, those children that are getting devices this year. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, John. Leo, go ahead. Then you, Titus. Go ahead, Leo. Leo. Still on mute, Leo. Still on mute. All right. We may come to you.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Go ahead, Leo.
Parent Support Center, are we still doing that this year?
Great question. Yes, Parent Support Center is open. I'm glad you asked that question. Thank you for bringing that up. I meant to speak on that. So that is beginning, I believe, in 2 weeks. So we are going to do something potentially a little different than what we did last year. I'm going to send out a form, a survey for those people that might be interested in working at the parent centers. I know these last 2 years, it was more so, we kind of kept things just static and let the people who had been there continue to be there. But I just want to make sure it's 100% equitable and that people that have interest and might want to work the parent centers have an opportunity to do so. So thank you for asking that question. Yes, they are going to kick off in about 2 weeks. And I'm going to send an interest form around to see who might be interested in working at particular parent centers throughout this year. I'll send you a list of what the sites are and if you have any interest in working at the parent center. So thanks, Leo. That was a long answer to a short question. Go ahead.
No, real quick. I'm not gonna, I am interested. I still want to keep doing the parent support center, even though I won't be here on those next two and at the end of the month. Until the end of the month, I won't be back. So I just want to put that out there to Patrick Taylor so that he knows not to forget me.
We got you. All right. Thanks, Leo. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Titus, go ahead.
Yeah. So the principal is asking for more smart boards because it's not covered all his classrooms. How does he go about doing that?
He goes about reaching out to Miss Kimberly Roberson. They're not going to come right now. Just know that what's been allocated to him. If they have you received the boards yet?
Yeah, he has.
Gotcha. So it won't happen instantaneously. There's going to be another round of purchasing. So he'll just have to hang tight and, God will provide.
Okay. And the last question is, we have, I've been imaging a few all-in-ones and the image has been like really, really slow. Like it's almost like there's a virus or something on it. I don't know what's been going on, but that's been happening lately with a lot of the downloads.
On what type of machines you said?
There's all-in-ones, all-in-ones.
Gotcha. We were just speaking of that. So I'm glad you brought that up. So we're gonna speak with Brian and the rest of the techs. It is on our radar because we've heard it a lot, not just from your building, but from Sasser, from John Eager Howard. The brand new 6-month-old, 3-month-old, brand new all-in-ones. Something's wrong. So we're looking. Go ahead, Ryan.
You talking about those 7480s, or I have seen in instances that RAID is turned on versus AHCI. You can try switching over to AHCI and then trying to image it, but I don't. Yes, there is an issue that exists.
Yeah. So we're on it, Titus. So as soon as we work out some kind of resolution, we'll definitely let everyone know because it's a big blip. Yeah.
Honestly, if somebody has one and they can drop it off to me, I think we could expedite this a little quicker. If you know you have one that's slow as molasses, please drop it off my desk and I will take a closer look for you, Titus.
Okay.
Perfect. Do you want to bring one by, Willie?
Yeah, I'll bring one by.
Sounds good. Mañana, tomorrow.
Yeah, I could do that.
Sounds good.
I'm in.
Better. All right. Fantastic. Thanks, guys. I'm coming to you in 1 second, Mike. Hold on. I'm just going to address one of the written question. Talbot for MCAT, but not for Wait a Yes. Oops, that is Kevin Banks asked, is there an installer for Chrome OS Flex that we can try out? Great question. Thank you for asking that. You guys are asking all the perfect questions. I've just purchased 150 flash drives. Chrome OS Flex requires a flash drive of at least 8 gigs or more. We had a whole lot of 4 gig flash drives. We were excited to put Flex on it for you guys, and then realized it needs at least 8 gigs. So once next week, once these new flash drives come in, I will actually pre-install as many of them as I can with Chrome OS Flex, but I'll also give you the directions on how to do such yourself. You could do it yourself as well, but I'll pre-install it on as many as I can. And once they come in, I'll let you guys know, please come and grab them. And yeah, you can begin playing around and install it on some devices. There's still not really a solid approved list of devices. We're kind of working it out to figure out what we have, what Chrome OS Flex works on. But great question, Kevin. Yeah, so as soon as those flash drives come in, I promise I'll let each of you know and you can come and scoop some up. Mike, go ahead. Mike, you're muted.
Yeah, they just bought me a 7480, I think, all-in-one in to work on yesterday, just working on something.
Mm-hmm.
But I put Windows 11 on it, and I had to update everything. You have to go through all the updates and then put it back on the domain again. And then it works fine. I don't know.
Update
if that was their
update
problem.
everything as in like all the drivers and everything?
But you have to run all the updates, and you have to do the optional updates.
Gotcha.
Once I did the optional updates and did the check the regular updates, I had to run it through about 3 or 4 times. And
Mhm.
once I did that, then I went back and went to the network and put it back on the domain under the computer name.
Mhm.
It worked fine.
All right. Well, that's good to know. Fantastic. Thanks, Mike. Thanks. Leo, was that your hand re-raised?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, shoot.
Question for
Mhm.
Brother Gavoni.
Yes.
B, Project Lead the Way. Can we do what we used to do? Make that get an image out there for Project Lead the Way? Can you help us with that if we bring you a machine with all the stuff we need on it?
I can stop sharing now.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. That's all. Yeah. Because they're not as organized as they used to be. But I know they need stuff.
Gotcha. All right. Thanks, Leo. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Jahan, I see your question. Is there a mandate countywide that pre-K get a Chromebook and some sites want to continue using iPads? If the iPads, belong to the school, and if the schools really want the pre-K students to use the iPads, they can do so. Just know that they're a bit problematic if they're not, at least 32, well, at this point, 64 gigs. So if they're older devices, they may see some issues with Hatch, et cetera. But no, there's not a mandate. It's just what we would like to see happen because the Chromebooks are less problematic. So I hope that answers your question, John. Does anybody have any other audible questions? I know I'm a little slow reading through the list. Parent centers, oh, I'm way behind. Okay. Any other audible questions? Joe, go.
Yeah, just a quick question, concerning, the iPads, because it just really came to mind about, we've got like 6 classrooms of pre-K in the ECC.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are they gonna, I really don't know, are they gonna keep the iPads or are they gonna replace them in the ECCs, since it's mixed?
Yeah, ECCs will continue to use it. If they're in an ECC, they're going to use iPads.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Jeff, to answer your question, Chrome OS can't even be created for the Chromebooks. We have done the OS Flex work on the ones that lose their OS. Can't even be created. I'm not sure. Jeff, if you're there, do you mind speaking your question?
Yeah, I have about 5 or 6 Chromebooks that the OS just is gone. And then we try to go into the Chrome site to create a thumb drive for the OS, and it has not necessarily been working.
Gotcha. So the Flex is not, the Flex cannot be installed on a Chromebook. Flex can only be installed on an OS, a Windows device, or Linux device or Mac OS device, but not, you can't install Chrome OS Flex onto a Chromebook. It will
Okay,
turn
so
a non-Chromebook.
is that a Caldell situation? Caldell and have them come out and fix or send the Chromebooks in to get them.
If they're under warranty? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Anderson, I know you had your hand raised a minute ago. Did I lose you? Do you have a question?
No, can you hear me?
I can. Yep.
Yes, just wondering about the AMS update or when that was going to get overhauled, the current one.
Yeah.
My queries are taking too long to I mean, it's impossible. It's been this way for quite some time. I use spreadsheets outside AMS just because the queries are too long. You know what's going
on? They're actively working on it. So I speak to Kumar. He's the main developer who works with asset management. They're working on, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, like load balancing. There's a lot that's going on, and they're trying to have it keep up with the amount of devices that we have thus imported into asset management 10 years ago when there were, a 1/10 of the number of devices. It obviously performed much better. So I don't have a solid answer for you. They're trying, they're working, they're aware, and I make them aware every single week of how, laggy the system is for you, myself, and everyone else. I don't know if we're gonna look to taking this to an outside developer at some point. But in-house right now, this asset management seems to be slowly failing. So stay tuned. I'll definitely keep you abreast. I'm gonna let them know each and every week to please just, just keep bouncing the system something, because yeah, I can't expect you guys to sit there and wait 6.5 minutes to open the history of one asset. Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. All right, Leo, was that your hand raised one more time, or I just didn't put it down?
Just didn't put it down.
All right, I'm gonna lower your hand. All right, and it looks like we're all caught up. Yep. All right, Daniel, where can we get a copy of the inventory for the newly installed smartboard panels? I'm gonna share that. Wade, I'm gonna let you speak on that. You want to speak on that? Daniel asked, where can we get a copy of the inventory for the newly installed smartboard panels?
That's actually a good question, because like I'm looking at the sheet, and some of the ones that have been installed, unless there's a panel, and there's another tab that's got the tracking, excuse me, where they're actually tracking the barcodes and serial numbers. So Daniel, I'll reach out to you tomorrow. Take care of it. If you hadn't heard from me by noon, hit me up tomorrow, Daniel, and I'll let everybody get a copy of, or at least whatever my understanding is of whatever your whatever your stuff is. I'll help.
Okay,
all right, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Wade. This vendor, Daniel, is kind of like eBright, who processes our Chromebooks. They're keeping an inventory of everything that they put in the schools, barcode and serial number, and they're eventually going to send us a spreadsheet that includes every single smartboard by serial number and barcode, what school it's in, and down to what room number it's in. They just haven't produced that info yet, because obviously the list is still in, still being built. But yeah, we'll have all that. As soon as they have it for us, you'll have it. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. And yes, Google Flex, I say yes, Google Flex works on Macs. Yes, it does work on Macs. It sure does. Steve, go ahead, shoot.
As far as AMS, I know if you specify your search by PO or by barcode, it shows up much faster than just putting something in there and doing a search.
Great question. So for example, what Steve is saying, if you're looking for a barcode, don't just type in the barcode in the search and hit enter. Choose from the drop down that you're looking for a barcode, then put in the barcode, so at least it has less of a query to run through. Let it know what you want it to look for. Okay. Thanks, Steve.
Also, as far as I know, we're getting a lot of people are trying to do refreshes now. What are we doing? How are we what are we asking for when someone's bringing back a damaged laptop, as far as refresh or return? I know we may want something like let's say a incident report from the school, but what all should that incident report say for us to justify not
charging,
handing them a bill?
Gotcha. So what the teacher is going to need is an incident report that's signed off by their administrator, that this incident happened or this damage occurred to the machine due to, let's say a student's causing, whether it was accidental or not, but just that it was school child influence damage to the device.
But it should not state the child's name.
No, it doesn't need to state that. No. Mm-mm. Just an account of what happened. Make sure that the principal sees it, signs off on it, so we know it's just not any willy-dilly that wrote it and said this is what happened. But so there is authorization that yes, this really did happen, and then in that case, yes, that device will be fixed without a fee. For those of you that aren't, or a return, yes. For those of you that aren't aware, there was a pretty big union meeting that the teachers had a few months ago, and a lot of them brought up their issues of having to pay for damages to their devices. There were some people in higher positions that decided, hey, we need to take a look at this. We shouldn't be charging these teachers $349 because they little water spilled in their machine, et cetera, et cetera. So it kind of opened up a large can of worms, but we're being a little more lenient per se with teachers that might cause damage to the machines. And so as Steve just pointed out, You know, if Johnny's running through the classroom, knocks off the teacher's laptop off his desk and it shatters into 2 pieces, you know, the teacher just needs to write up an incident of that report, have it signed off by the principal, let us know what happened. It was, you know, a weird accident, that it was student induced, and we will not charge that teacher for that repair. If it's something at home and they were drinking a glass of wine and they spill that on the machine, that's a whole different story. Yes, they're going to be responsible for that. Okay. Thanks, Steve. Hey, Dwight, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, Pat. Hey, man, look, listen, a quick question. This is probably an offline one, but I got a biohazard situation at one of my schools. Actually, look, it's one of your old sites, but it's a potential biohazard situation involving Chromebooks. And, you know, they were in a room that ended up, basically everything got covered with mold. And I discovered this last week when I went by. The building supervisor told me that they were supposed to have somebody come this week to clean that particular room. But I was going through looking to see what else could be, you know, tossed out. And then I potentially anything else that could be, and I know Les don't want to hear this, but anything else that could be brought down to Forestville for repair. But yeah, I went over there and all that stuff. I walked in, had my mask on, and I was only in there for a few minutes, walked right back out because everything was covered with mold. So what we do in the case of, you know, like equipment like that, that's, you know, I know we're responsible for it, of course, but now would I have to go over there and clean it all up once they come back through, or?
No, if it's that bad, I'm not going to ask you to expose yourself to mold or, you know, in any cases where there was throw up on machines, things like that. No, if it's possible, if you could just acquire the barcode or any information, and we'll just decommission it. We'll put in the notes.
Yeah, because those are, well, I mean, but they all, like, you know, most of them are 3100s.
That's fine. I'm not going to ask you to, don't put yourself in harm's risk. Please don't. It's okay.
All right.
It's all right. We're going to decommission and we're going to keep moving. Throw it in a plastic bag. Again, you know, we can give it to CDR so they could properly dispose of it while it's in the plastic bag. But
okay. I mean, because I scanned most of it, you know, before.
Yeah.
I think the lady, you know, the technology coordinator added a couple more pieces to that. But apparently he said that, I guess, before they left, they turned the air conditioner off, or they turned it down too low, so it cut off.
Yeah.
And, you know, I come up to the school and I say, hey, man, I got to get in that room. And he's like, oh, I wouldn't go in there if I was you.
Right.
What are you talking about? He said, you go see. So
yeah, please don't put yourself in harm's risk. Nope. No, it's okay. I know, even if they're 3 months old, it's okay. It's all right. Not worth it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Dwight.
Thanks. Pat. All right.
No problem. All right, Les, go ahead. Last question, and we're gonna wrap up. Go ahead.
Dwight, how many devices do you have like that?
I want to say it was over 100 3100s, but but then there was also some Dell 11s mixed in there. And like I said, I didn't stay in there long enough to go back and count it all up again. So I had to go through my spreadsheet to see how many I had counted up before. But I just sort of said, let me get up out of there. I didn't even want to stay in that room. So
well, yeah, I mean, if you get this, you know, if you're able to scan them into the spreadsheet and then out in the column, this state mold.
Yeah.
Then that way, you know, we just know what it is whenever, you know.
Okay. I mean, look, that'll work because I got to go back by there. So I'm gonna try to get by there before the end of the week because he said they were supposed to be coming this week. But I have, like I said, I have most of the stuff that I scanned. I want to go see what else she added to the, you know, because the coordinator, she was there about a week ago. You know, just during the summer here, she said, "Oh yeah, I got some more stuff to put in there." I said, "Okay, well, I added up, you know, scan it, but yeah, I'll go back in there and take a look."
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Just get that to me because I know you're gonna need those to get replaced.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right. Yeah, that's it. Don't bring them here.
Right.
Covered that.
You got
all right, guys.
You got.
I'm not trying to get beat down.
You got a CDR list, right?
Say what would you say?
CDR coming to you?
Well, they had already come before.
No, are they coming this time?
I think I put them back on to come again because I had some desktops and stuff that I wanted to get rid of over there. So
okay,
that's part of why I was going over there to count up to see what else was in there we can get rid of. But I think I did just put like a little tentative list together.
Give me a call.
Okay, we'll do.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, last question, Mr. Anderson, go ahead.
It's online.
Yeah, just stickers and decor on the Chromebooks that just, I mean, when these children put these stickers on here, inside, outside the Chromebook, impossible to get off. I'm wasting time, spending time trying to clean up a Chromebook. Folks are getting back what they give. It's as simple as that. And oftentimes when the parent pays for it, they're expecting a brand new Chromebook. Ma'am, you get Tony's Chromebook child who put 60 stickers in and out, and here you go, and this is what you got for your money.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Can we?
So in that regard, though, we're
Hold, real quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just asking, can we send a letter to principals speaking to that whole sticker thing so that can go out to parents?
Great point. So I'm gonna draft it up in an email right now and send it on to Lisa and Andy and see if they can get that printed up on the next memo. Thanks, Anderson. Very, very good point. Yeah, that's
We do encourage the parents, though, with multiple students in the home to put a piece of tape with the student's name on it. And that would be acceptable, just one piece with their name. Because when we were doing the reconciliations, we found that there was a lot of student switch, sibling switch. So I'm definitely on board with that, with the stickers, but a piece of tape, Pat, that shouldn't be outrageous.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that being said, I see that we're all caught up in the chat. I believe the audible questions are done. So I'm going to let you guys carry on through your day. That was pretty good. I guess we finished just under the hour. So thank you again. Thank you all for coming. Thanks for being on time. Thanks for listening. I hope that, some of this will sink in a little bit. Again, that transformative innovation, that's our goal. We just can't do the same things that we had been doing 10 years in the past. So let's take some risks. Let's fail and let's learn. All right. Yes. All right. Well, you guys have a fantastic day. If anybody has any questions or anything you want to take offline, you all have my number. Call, text, email.
Congratulations, Cyrus.
Yeah, congrats, Cyrus.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Cyrus.
Congratulations.
Congrats, Cyrus.
All right. Well, you guys have a great day. Take care, everyone.
All right. Hey, thanks, Pat.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Everybody have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.